What's up, everyone? It is 4:35 in the morning, and you can hear all the birds and whatnot chirping. Now, usually, after I have been up the entire day and would get to bed at the gym around like 1 or 2 in the morning, I would have called it quits, but I have a problem, and that problem is called severe fishing addiction. So we went out on Flanagan yesterday trying to hook into some of the nicer bass for everyone, and yeah, I just didn't do too good. I mean, I got one pretty nice pickerel, but not what we were expecting, and so I couldn't leave everyone hanging. So we're getting out here now bright and early in the morning, and we're gonna go and do some trolling on Big Spec just to see if we can actually hook into any halfway decent trout, because the morning bite, you can't beat it. So I got the GoPro bag all ready to go here with me, and I got a whole bunch of tackle boxes. I got my fly box out here today, and I got my spoon box and my normal bass box, and we're not fishing little spec today, so we're gonna be going over and ripping Big Spec, which means we're just walking right across the street. There are some really nice things about living on a body of water, especially if you're addicted to fishing. It's like, I don't gotta get up and drive and go anywhere. All I have to do is make sure that I get my butt out of bed and I walk across the street to the next boat. And just like that, we are on the third cleanest body of water in the state of Massachusetts, right behind the Quabbin Reservoir and the Wachusett Reservoir. And for those of you that have allergies like me, this is the stuff of nightmares. That is all of the pollen coming down from these trees right now. Absolutely nasty. Anything could be just lurking right down there in the water, and we're gonna go get them. So to show everyone the full setup I got going, we got the trolling tackle box with us today, and this thing is just full of a whole bunch of different spoons that I've collected over the past few years, and these are gonna do us a good job out there on the water. Specifically though, we're gonna be taking some from my bass box, and we're gonna be throwing these guys, Michigan spinners, or sorry, Michigan stingers. And I like to use the scorpion size of these ones because they're a little on the smaller side and they got a nice clean flash. And I use Rosemary's Baby, as you can see right there. That one looks a lot like a perch, so that's what it's mimicking out here today. And so it's gonna target some of those fish that are feeding on what's full of in the lake. In here, I got a whole bunch of different flies and stuff, some various ones I kind of threw together here. This one was a normal little mackerel fly actually, and I added on some beads and this orange component because it replicates the perch. I got the net, and in the back we've got our full-on setup. So we got some rod holders that are mounted along the sides, and these are for the lead core rods that we're going to be throwing down. And we got the old downriggers. This one has seen its better days. It is all beat up, and unfortunately the thing broke, so this is the rig that we redid. It's like The Rock once said, if you can't fix something, just use more duct tape. And so that's all I've thrown together here to make this thing work. So together, those are going to allow us to get the bait down deep in the water column and find out where these trout are hanging out. The rainbow should have a pretty good bite this morning, so we're gonna get cruising. Just gonna be waiting for my cameraman here momentarily. He's gonna come out and join with me so I can throw all 4 of these fishing poles. And I think the bite's gonna be pretty good. I mean, it is so calm right now that we're gonna get a whole bunch of action, and these fish are gonna be able to see the baits nice and clear in the water. So let's get out there and get some fish. So the first thing I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be letting out these lead core rods. And what these do is, as we let them out in the water column, the line itself is actually weighted, right? So you can see here on the spool, all that's nice and weighted line. So I make myself a nice, really long leader, and we're gonna be aiming for probably like 50 feet actually of mono, because trout are such a sensitive species. And they're really able to just kind of pick up on key little things like that. So if they see the line, it's like a lot of really, really good old fishermen will tell you that you want to catch into the salmonids. What you do is you make it so your line is skinny as can be. Oh, it's looped right there. We're gonna let line out to probably only 60 feet to start, because I know this cove like the back of my hand, and it starts off actually pretty shallow in here. And what's shallow to me in this case is we're talking maybe like 20-30 feet, but when you think about it in the scheme of this pond, we get into 50s and about 60 at the very deepest part of this lake. And so I have to make sure that we're not hitting into any weeds or nothing like that going through the start of this channel. And this one, we're going to be using one of the stingers on the other side. Let that one out on the left. It's just so nice and calm. And the best thing is, like, if you get out really early in the morning, guys, a lot of the times there won't be any people out here with you. And when I'm fishing, I love the peace and the quiet of it. I mean, besides catching the fish, that's probably my favorite part, is just being able to come out here and relax. And it's like the birds are active, the fish are going to be active, and it's just going to be me in the water. Sometimes that's one of the best ways to really just be in tune with everything. I want to catch these pins. No one else is out here willing to do it, and that's why I'm here. And a lot of other places, obviously, people wake up pretty early, but the nice thing about the little spot I have here is, like, it's just me. It's a real luxury that I have. When I was in college, I did a study on this pond, actually, specifically because besides the Quabbin and Wachusett, there are no other places in the state that you can really readily catch lake trout. It's not an easy thing to come across. And it's because they need a very nice and cold watered environment where it's deep and clear. And to come across that, in Massachusetts, a lot of them are kettle ponds that are slimy and kind of nasty, and they just don't have the depth and the temperature requirements to have these fish being able to survive. So a few years back, I was fishing here when I had just got this new fish finder, and I ended up coming out one morning and I had discovered that there was these ground marks sitting along the bottom over there, and to me that's an indicator of lake trout. They love sitting along the bottom. I mean, you'll catch them higher up too in the water column, but if you're seeing these big marks on the bottom of the body of water like that, it's pretty much a surefire sign, okay, there is some good ground fish here, and those are usually going to be lake trout. So I saw that, and I came out here for days and days and days and until I finally ended up hooking into them. I was just dropping on the bottom with some shiners and some clear line, and that's a really great way to test if there's lake trout in the body of water, because they can't resist that if you sit long enough. So I threw that, and I got back out on the water, and I was like, no way, I actually caught one. And so the next year and a half, I was just out here fishing and making a data log for all the fish I caught, and the temperature, and the time of day, and where I was catching these fish, how deep, you know, what part on the lakes am I actually hooking into them. Everything I could to replicate to try and catch as many lake trout as I could. And then I ended up doing an entire study on it with just the age and the growth. I got to learn how old these fish are, and from there I took off. I was obsessed. I spent the entirety of that summer just trying to catch as many as I could, learn about why these fish possibly got thrown in here, because, you know, they don't get stocked. Lake trout are not stocked in Massachusetts, which means somebody threw them in this lake. Because they certainly weren't here from years before. Any of the other fishermen that I had talked to, no one had any record or pictures or nothing of lake trout being in this pond. So the fact that they're in here was just mind-boggling. It's like right there, you see that in the fish finder, those ground marks? It's like, that's indicators that those are probably rainbows of lake trout. And so I'm still out here rigging up, and not after very long at all, I just got absolutely hammered on this blue and silver moose-lick wobbler. And that's the enjoyment of it. It's like you wake up early, guys, and these fish are gonna bite, and he's already jumping on us way back there. Gotta keep driving around. I'm gonna have to get the net ready, have Ben pass me that, ready to make a turn in a sec. Oh, these fish are just so aggressive. And that's one of my favorite things about going for the trout too. It's like with the bass, you know, they deep dive, but like you kind of expect the patterns. With a trout, it's like you get that hard constant pull on the end of the rod tip like that, and I don't know what he's gonna do. Sometimes they dive, sometimes they shoot straight up, sometimes they run just straight at you. It's like they're so crazy with their patterns. They're not predictable, at least. And not that any fish is predictable, but when you're doing this long enough, it's like you start to pick up on some patterns here and there. Now, with trolling, for those of you that haven't used lead core before, something that's really, really important to pay attention to land these fish is how you're holding the rod. I have it held out at the exact angle that the fish bit onto this, because if I was to all of a sudden switch and let that rod tip go too close backwards behind the boat, there's a chance that that fish spits the hook, spins it in his mouth, and pops off. I need to be keeping that same angle because it's keeping the pressure on the fish the whole time. Another really important thing to pay attention to as well is when you're trolling, the boat's already moving pretty fast as it is, so you don't have to go and set the hook at all. Everyone kind of goes and just rips it right out of their mouth. You go take the hook and you yank the rod on it like that, and it's pulling the hook right out of these poor fish's mouth, and it's like you never give them a chance to take it. You got to be calm, patient, and just ready. And he's fighting all the way down to the end. Oh, and we're gonna swing him in, and that is a nice rainbow to start off the morning. Look at that. What a beauty. I tired this one out really good. And it didn't take long at all. And that's so nice. Like I'm still rigging up these other ones, and all of a sudden, whoa, they're slimy too, huh? I'm just onto these gorgeous fish. I knew since I didn't have too much luck bass fishing, I was due for some good ones today. And I'm so glad I could just get out here and get this fish to start off. Oh. Quick measurement for everyone, for example. It's about a 14-inch rainbow. We'll throw him back here and trying to hook into some more. So I had that one with the line set out to about 115 feet behind the boat. Or actually, I think there's 126 and 126 on that one. I've been kind of playing around at the range, and the way you determine that is lead core. When you're going about 2 to 2.5 miles per hour for speed, will sink 6 feet for every color of line that you let out, which is about 10 meters or so. And with this, you can tell, yes, lead core is color coded. So I played around with that for quite some time to kind of pick and choose to what's getting me at the right depths. And I'm seeing these fish all over the 15-foot mark to the 40-foot mark in this lake. So I am just trying to get down there to that range. And I realize with the 2 lead cores that I have, 126 is putting me right around 21, 22 feet in the water column. So we're just trying to target that. These rainbows are actually still a little bit higher up, and it's because the water temperature is only at 75 degrees, which may sound warm to you guys, but during the midst of the summer over here, we end up getting into like 80, 88, sometimes even 90-degree water on the surface of this lake. It's just because it heats up really quick. So at that point, if you get a lot of days where there's not a lot of rain, you just gotta let it sink out a little bit more, because those fish are gonna be hugging the bottom. But right now, it's early June, and these fish are active and up high. So as far as trying to get the lake trout, they are a little more picky. For everything I throw in here, I try to replicate perch, because it is the main food source, even for the perch. But when it comes to lake trout, they're stubborn, and so my favorite lure to catch a lake trout is the birthday cake mooselik wobbler. It's this white lure with these little small pink, yellow, and blue spots on it, and the majority of the lakers that I have caught out of here has been on this right here. All I'm gonna do is cast it out behind, hook it onto the downrigger there, and we're gonna try and put it pretty much as close to the bottom as we can get. When you're out fishing a lake and you don't know where the lake trout are gonna be, what the structure and stuff is like, if you really wanna try and target them alone, just put it on the bottom. That's mostly where they're hiding. If you catch the ones higher up, sure, it's gonna happen, but if you're really trying to isolate them, it's just a keystone way to make sure that you're gonna try and have a lake trout brought into the boat for you that day. And so that's what I'm gonna do now. Air is itself. So I need to calculate for that lift. And once I saw it in the fish finder, I knew it's like, okay, if I'm throwing the ball down to 36 feet, in reality, we got 5 feet of lift. So I just drop it however many extra feet to make sure that I'm hitting the depth I want to be trolling at. And you guys can look for that too. And same spot in the lake, it didn't take long at all. I'm looping back through. Oh, you can already see him. He gave up. He's on the top of the water back there. Just dragging him along the whole way. They're loving this blue and silver one this morning. And you know what? It's so funny. It's like I spent the whole day yesterday trying to catch a bass. I couldn't do it. And sure enough, in 20 feet of water out here, trolling, I got one. Oh, that's hilarious that that can happen. It's just a little bass It really is comical after the day I had yesterday. Get it right back down, and hopefully I'll have time to tie up this other one so I can have all of my rods running. Two fish so far, haven't been fishing very long. And so not long after, I trolled through here and I saw some really nice marks on the bottom of the downrigger. And, oh, this one is just, he's trying to pull me through the loops. I just tied on this Rosemary's Baby. Oh, look at the jump. He's pulling like crazy. Gonna have to have the net ready for myself to get this one through the back. Whew. Oh, I loosened the drag up because these trout just love to fight. I mean, look at the jumping. He's going crazy. He's gonna cross my line on the other side. And so now that he's way out to the right, what I'm gonna have to do is run him all the way over on the side here, guys. And it's like, you gotta be so on your toes when you're trolling, because these fish will go crazy for you. And oh, I love the action. It's like this rainbow is just, he's giving me his all, you know. He did not want to come into the boat, and as soon as he saw the boat, he started jumping like crazy. It's such a nice, active, healthy fish. It's just so cool to see that. I'm just gonna slowly tire him out. That's the big thing about trolling too, is like everyone's always in such a rush to get the fish in the boat, and it's like, take your time with these fish. I can't stress that enough. It's like they can pop off any second with every little head shake, brash. It's like they and it's not even that big a one right here. We can see him on the side. It's got some really pretty coloration. It's not a monster, but you know, it's like, it also helps that, like, you hear how loose that drag is. It's like all that pulling. Get ready to net your own fish, and that's how it's done. And it's actually not that bad of a rainbow. He's chunky, to say the least. It's just so cool to see that strike. I mean, I hooked him really well too. So that does help. Get him from the top. Just want to show everyone here. Oh. What a pretty fish. So I caught him at 31 feet on the downrigger. I have about a 4-foot swing right now because of how fast I'm going. Oh. This one's a little bit better. It's 15. It fought so nice and hard. I'm glad I got to see all those cool jumps on there for everyone. Let's throw him back and try and hook into the laker we're looking for. Off he goes. And sometimes when you throw them back, they'll sit on the top for a second. They do take a second because they're so used to living in these cool, deep waters. I haven't been out here for very long at all. I'd say I probably got on the water right around like 4:45, so it's been about my first hour since I left the dock, and I'm just so happy I woke up today, guys. I've already got 3 fish in the boat, and it's just such a calm, clear, gorgeous day out here. I mean, I couldn't have picked a better one. So I'm happy I didn't sleep. And good year or two, and oh, look at that. We even got the bald eagle out here with us right now. He might go dive after the fish. Oh, wow, what a morning. It's like, you can't beat that. I wish we could see him. Oh, he's diving in, he's diving in. Oh yeah, and he got my rainbow. He got the rainbow trout. That's so cool. He just dove right in after the water and clearly took it off the top, and I guess that one didn't get back down in time, but it did not go to waste. That was just incredible. Now he's going to sit over there in the tree with it. The fish are just biting like crazy here this morning, guys. I was trolling in 42 feet on that one. And this thing just skyrocketed straight to the top. To be in 42 feet and then to come straight to the top and jump like that is just incredible. And I don't even think it's that big of a trout. He was just hanging in that nice, cool, deep water. And this one was on the white birthday cake, which I was so ecstatic about. Oh, and he's gonna run me right through the middle. So this is gonna be a nice little challenge for myself to really try and land this fish. But I can't get him in that spot, and he is just barely hooked in the corner of his lip there. Oh, grab the net over the other rod, and it, boom, that's how you execute these fish, guys. It takes patience, calmness, and calamity. And just like that, he popped off the hook. I knew he was barely on too, and that's another good 16-inch rainbow trout. Oh, so awesome. Oh, I have a double. He's got to go. Back he goes, folks. And this one's on. Boom. I knew I was gonna have a good morning. I was like, I could just feel it, because without the luck of the bass earlier, it was like I never get skunked like that. Like, especially just get one bass and a nice pickerel. So so cool to see these fish coming out. And this might not even be a trout. I think I actually have another bass out here right now, which is hysterical. It shows that these I'm going too fast right now. So for the lead core, I think I'm hooking into him, because, oh, and off he pops. It's good, it was just a little guy. Means we're trolling too high in the water column for these. So since I don't have a way to slow myself down right now, we're gonna drop them even further. I'm gonna throw both of them to 150, see what happens. There's so much action going on out here today. I can't even follow my track when I'm out here in this lake. I usually like to go and I make like a little square around the body of water, and it just keeps me consistent in the depth path, because when I'm trying to target these lake trout, I know that I got to be trolling in like 40-50 feet of water, and so not the entirety of the lake can have that coverage. It pops up to like 32 feet in quite a few spots, so I have to make sure that I really try and stick to my track. And I'm just all over the place. I'm zigzagging out on the frickin' pond right now because the fish are just biting like crazy. That's why you wake up early, folks. Now we got this to 151 for the counter. Throw that back in and see if that gets us some more trout on this, because I was just seeing too many bass. Same thing with this one. I'm gonna pull this up. Crank it up to the top from the 42 feet we had it at, and then gonna reset this one. And I'm doing this because I really just want to make sure that I'm hitting some deeper water here. We got the first trout on 126 for this one, but even so, it's like I just caught that rainbow in 42 feet, which is, it's like, that's deep for these fish right now. You can see how I'm rushing to get the line too. You don't have to do this letting it back out. I'm so excited to catch these fish right now that I want to make it happen. Three rainbows so far this morning and 2 largemouth. And for reference point, so right after they stock the pond, either in the fall or the springtime, it's like on days like that, you can catch, you know, if you're having a really good day, 15 to 30 fish if you're really dedicated and fishing the whole day. But in the summertime out here, it calms down. You're not hitting anywhere near those numbers. On a really solid day, you're catching 6 fish, right? You'll spend the whole day trying to troll and you get 6 really nice trout. And if you do that, awesome. So the fact that I'm already at 3, I'm just coming out here in the morning from the starts of early June here, it's just incredible, because it's not a body of water that has the capability to produce such high numbers unless they're all really fresh. So this is just, truly one of those great mornings. It's a pleasure. These fish today are just wow. This one was in 31 feet and he's staying deep and fighting long. I just got that other one to pop off, so it's a good time to reel him up through the middle here in the back. I'm gonna let him run a little bit just because I want to tire him out. He came up so quick that he was fresh, and I don't want to have him pop off. I want to be able to have everyone see this fish too. It's like they're so active right now this morning. This is gonna be 4. I just lost one 2 seconds ago, and right afterwards he's already hooked me back on, and I got another bite. Oh, and look at the splash, and he's doing everything he can to get off, and I'm staying calm and patient with him. Something about trolling, man. These Rosemary's babies, I swear by them. They do so good. I've used so many different trolling spoons in this pond, testing everything. I kept that log for so long because, you know, I don't know what's going to work the best. You got to play around with it, and it's like time and time again. And see how calm I'm being right now? It's like I gotta have him actually come all the way up to me so I can get this fish in the boat. I might lose him here because it's just difficult to kind of net by yourself. I need to get a little more drag in. There we go, I get that pull. Squeeze through the middle, guys. Oh, that's how it's done. That's how you land these fish. Takes quite the effort. And that's just so cool. Just like I got another one just like that. I'll try and turn us here and be prepared for if another one's gonna bite. Nice thing about trout fishing too is a lot of the times they just end up unhooking themselves because they just thrash around so much. Oh, another absolute beauty, guys. Probably another 15, 16 incher on this nice morning. That's 4 in the boat. I could not be happier. Look how pretty these guys. Rainbow trout are just such a beautiful fish. They got that nice dark green on the top, pink stripe through the lateral line, and on the gill cover on the operculum there. And you know, it's a great day to be out here. Back he goes. Oh. Get those lines back down, and my pants are gonna be bloody, but I don't care. It's so worth it. I don't even get a chance to re-rig the other ones because as soon as I do that, I'm already on. It's so funny. It's like I just put that pole down, unhooked it from the net, turned the corner, and I'm on to another rainbow. This is gonna be number 5, guys. As I turn the corner here, I gotta make sure I reel a little bit quicker. Oh, and he jumped way over there. And it's because if I don't do that, you know, they're gonna gain the slack. So the tension is off because I turned the corner. So you gotta make sure you're keeping up with them. Oh, it looks like it may have fooled me. For 135 feet behind the boat, we've got our 3rd largemouth of the day, and he's a dinger, folks. Oh, that's so funny. I was all riled up and ready to go for another one. I guess it didn't feel too big, so I'm not I'm not totally surprised it wasn't a rainbow. I didn't feel that head thrashing, but they're biting this morning, that's for sure. I swear, when I'm out here, it's like giving a little kid candy. It's like, doesn't matter how many times I do this, I don't get sick of it. It's just so fun, especially if I'm getting the bite good and they're actually hitting for me. It's like, I will stay out here all day. It's like anyone in my family has always told me, it's like, you could give me a canoe on one of the Great Lakes and no one would probably ever see me come back to shore. And that one popped the down ear clip real quick, and he is gonna be in the way of this lead core. Yeah. Wow, he didn't come off somehow. He's crossing my lines left and right. That's so lucky. This one just started peeling the drag, and you see the jumps there. He's got crazy agility on this one. Oh my God, he's just bursting. I kind of hope he just pops off. It's not that big a one here, and he's one of the little ones, right, where it's just like, okay, so we just sling him in the boat just like that. Best way to get him. Wow, he's a spazzy one. Isn't that so cool? Oh, again, the Rosemary's Baby strikes. It's just, oh, why do you have to go do that? I had him ready to go. And now he's getting himself all tangled up every which way. This one's a little smaller, but still so pretty either way. And look at that, the heron might come grab him if I throw him out. Oh, off he goes. Wow. 5 rainbows in the boat, guys. My hands are covered in slime.
Whack that like button and subscribe to catch more fish.